All right, getting ready to test out this Macerator pump on the longest run ever. And it's 150 feet to the clean out, way up there by the house. Today we're going to put this thing to the test and see if it can pump 150 feet through a tiny garden hose up a hill. So first off, what the heck is this thing and why might you need it? This thing is a macerator. It's designed to hook up to any standard 3-inch bayonet connection like the one that comes out of the side of most RVs for the waste dump. And it chops up all the solids, which you know what those might be, is toilet paper, things like that, and lets you pump it through a regular garden hose. Why might you want to pump through a regular garden hose? Well, there are some situations, and I gotta put this thing down because it's kind of heavy. There are some situations where this thing is super, super handy and even necessary. Number one, if you have a standard sewer connection that is perhaps too far away, you don't have enough regular sewer hose, or maybe it's up a hill higher than the output of your sewer and causes imbalance problems there. This thing can be great in those situations because you can actually pump it uphill, and Camco makes an adapter for a normal sewer connection, and that's one instance. Another instance might be if you're mooch docking. Now, we've talked about mooch docking before. It's when you're staying on somebody's property or maybe even your own property and you don't have a standard RV sewer connection there. This thing will allow you to hook it up to a hose and pump it to a sewer cleanout, maybe to a septic tank or even into a toilet. We did this once already at Tara's brother's house in Ohio. We'll have a link to that video down below. It's hilarious.
Oh. This is much worse than like dumping a sewer line.
Yeah, because you have to see more of it.
This might not be the best spot for me to be in.
It does not smell good in here. It does not smell good. Oh my goodness. I'm just hanging my head out the window because it's really stinky.
Tara got the worst part of this view.
I did get the worst part. I did.
But today we want to see how far it can go. A lot of you have asked this on our previous video. In that video we only went about 20 feet, which wasn't a real huge test. This time we're in a situation where we need to go much, much further. Another situation where this might be a real benefit is if you're using one of those blue totes. Those blue totes that you can actually dump from your RV into it and then, take it to the dump station, maybe at the same campground. We see those a lot where people will actually tow them behind the vehicle. We've been in situations where we're at a dump station at like a Pilot, Flying J, that kind of thing, and we'll see somebody there dumping with one of those blue totes in the back of their truck. And that's an awesome way to do it too. It saves you from having to drive the whole RV there. But you got to get the blue tote full of waste up into the truck because, gravity, you can't dump from your RV down and up and into the truck. It just doesn't work that way. But with this, you could have the tote in the bed of the truck and then pump directly into it, and that would save you the loading and unloading and possible issues that might come from doing that. But so far for us, our use of this has been when we're mooch docking and we want to pump it to a clean out or a toilet or something along those lines. So recently we were at a new friend's house in Ohio, a new mooch docking location. Tara's brother sold his house, so we no longer have that option there, but we did find another location. And this location is awesome. They have a nice huge yard. They have a septic tank that is up in the yard. The trouble is it's 150 feet away, and I had no idea if this thing could actually do that. Now, if you happen to watch our first video a couple of years ago when we tested this thing out, the short distance and into Tara's brother's toilet, that was hilarious. You have to go watch that.
I don't.
But you might remember that the one issue with the pump, and it wasn't a real issue, but it had a thermal cutoff. And it would run for a while, it would shut itself off, and then it would come back on. Not a huge deal. But the manufacturer of this FloJet actually reached out to us after that video came out, probably about a year later, and mentioned that they have a new version of the pump that they're going to be putting into production, and it has a higher duty cycle, meaning it can run longer before that thermal cutout cuts in. So they sent us a prototype to test. So we're going to do this 150-foot test twice, once with the current pump and once with the new pump. So here's the situation where we're testing this. The sewer clean out, I guess it's not really a clean out, I think it just dumps straight into the septic tank. It's 150 feet across a giant yard and uphill slightly. Additionally, the manual for this thing has some hose diameter and length recommendations, and it maxes out at a 3/4 inch hose at 50 feet. Now, we're going much further than that, so it doesn't say that that's the maximum, so we're kind of putting this thing to the test. So I bought the 3 cheapest pieces of 50-foot hose that I could find, because quite honestly, I don't want to use expensive hoses for this. I don't even want to buy a 3/4 inch. So I bought a 5/8 inch 50-foot hose times 3, connected them all together, ran them all the way up the hill, and here's the first test. All right, getting ready to test out this macerator pump on the longest run ever. Let me show you here. We've got it coming under the RV here and then going, it's right here under the RV from the sewer, and then it's 150 feet to the clean out way up there by the house. So the question is, can this thing pump 150 feet, mostly uphill? It's a slight uphill, but it's uphill nonetheless. So we've got it hooked up down here. Let me show you. Of course, I'm going to be doing this experiment with gray water first. So here comes the gray. Right to there. Ow, hit my head. And looks to be pumping. I see it moving. Let's go see if it's actually made it out the other end of the hose. Whew. Head rush. So, of course, the first part of it, once it gets the hose full of water, is when it has the most water to push. So let's go take a look here. If this does work, I hope it does, the company who makes the pump is sending us a new beta model, and we're going to be testing that out. I hear flow. There it is. So that's good news. That's very good news. It appears to be working. So now it's time to empty the black water. So the problem with this pump, and it's not really a problem, it's just that it can't handle pumping constantly for a long time. So it overheats and does an automatic shutdown and then turns itself back on. And the new pump is supposed to be better. Oh, see, it just turned itself back on. So the new pump is supposed to be better and not have to cycle as much for heat. So big thumbs up on the original pump, just like before going the short distance. You know, I don't really see any difference in how it operated. It pumped seemingly to me just as fast that 20 feet in through the window as we did 150 feet up that hill. It did a really, really good job, but like the original test, it did cut out every now and then. But it does work, it did work really well. Even with the cutting in and out, it's still way, way better than having to schlep your RV all the way to a dump station or deal with a blue toad or any of that stuff. Super easy. Now, one thing you should know about this pump when you get it is it does require a little bit of wiring. Same thing when I got the new pump, I had to do a little bit of wiring. It's super simple. They basically send you this part and this part separately, and you just have to wire them up like this, red to red, black to black. Super, super simple. It also comes with a length of 12 gauge wire that has this connection on it so that you can plug this in, and then the other end goes to your DC power source. Now that other end is just 2 bare wires, so it's up to you on how you want to connect them. For us, we needed a little bit more distance to get from our sewer port to where our battery bank is. So I just went to Lowe's and got some 12 2-wire. It's just 12 gauge 2-wire, and just extended it. I got some real simple heat shrink crimps. You just crimp them down, get a hair dryer or a lighter on them. Really easy. You don't need any special tools to do this. I also added these 30 amp rated alligator clips. Again, all this stuff is just from Lowe's. I'll try to have some links for it down below if I can find equivalent ones on Amazon. But again, really simple, no special tools needed. You could do it with a pair of pliers and a lighter. For us, we just connect these directly to our batteries, but I could also connect them to the truck battery. I could connect it to any 12 volt DC power source. Another tip on this connection on the inside here is really tight. I like to connect this to a 45-degree clear elbow, and it was a bit of a bear to get that in there. It's super tight, so you can see I've just got some grease on here, but I also took a file and I just filed down these edges here a little bit. That way it just makes it a little bit easier to get it started, to get it pushed in. Before we jump to the testing of the new prototype, please subscribe if you haven't already and click that like button. That really helps us out a lot. Thank you very much. All right, I have the new poop pump macerator hooked up down here. It hooks up just like the old one, where you've got connects right up to your sewer outlet. I prefer to use a clear elbow. Also, side note, whenever you're testing something like this for the first time, or even just hooking it up the first time, test it with gray water first. If there's a leak or an accident, the hose pops off and spills everywhere, you want that to happen with gray water, not black water. Here goes the gray water. Let's go see if it's coming out on the other end. Just like last time, it's the same 150 foot of hose going all the way over. No leaks. Oh yeah, I hear it. Here comes the black water test. You'll see it start to get nasty.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Blech. So the verdict is in on the new pump, and it's a big thumbs up. This thing has not overheated once. It's done very well. So you can see the new pump with the new prototype motor did a great job also. The biggest difference there, the only difference really, is that it did not cut off at all. So it appeared to have, at least for our test, 100% duty cycle, meaning it can run constantly without shutting off for that thermal cutout, whereas the original pump did shut off and on a few times. Now, as far as that thermal cutout being a nuisance, it's not really a big deal, but it's nice to know that they're watching their consumers and how it gets used and trying to improve it, which is really cool. Now, when I originally talked to them about this new model, this new prototype model, they thought it would be out in about a month or two, which would be right about now. However, I just emailed them yesterday to kind of confirm, and they've had some supply chain issues, shocker. And it may be longer, maybe even to 2023, but we're not real sure. But the cool thing is, after testing this, I don't think you really need to wait for the newer model. If you don't need it right now, yeah, go ahead and wait. And in fact, what we'll do is as soon as we get word that the new model is out, we'll put some information in the description down below, also in the blog post. So if you're not sure, you can check back here and see if it's out. But honestly, both of them work great. And you know, there's really nothing in the manual that says how far you can go. So we did the 150 feet and it worked great. Based on how the motor sounded, it did not sound stressed at all, either one of them. So I would imagine we could probably easily go another 50, maybe 100 feet. I don't know, but if any of you guys out there have used this pump or one like it and have done some extreme pumping, like, you know, up a steep grade or, you know, 500 feet or something crazy like that, or even if it's just more than 150, I'd love to hear about that. I'd like to hear your actual use cases. So that's it. It works great. It's a super, super cool option, even if you have to pump 150 feet uphill.